which is interesting. Could sleep until morning. Turn that in. Yeah, I don't want to lose stuff in my inventory. I'm stuffed. Go to sleep. Let's moonshine it up. All right. Gonna be like 10 minutes of lead time for this to set up everything for the NFL draft stuff. Yeah, we got about an hour. Farhan should be up by now. I'm still kind of drunk. There he is. Whose horse is this? Oh, it's Ratzig's horse.
Greetings. What business have you?
I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You
Okay.
cannot. Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, may all the saints preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and God be with you.
Okay. How am I gonna do this? Oh, I'm in a private area right now?
Hey, is someone there?
No. Not at all.
Looking for someone?
Yeah, I was looking for this trough. See? I'm all cleaned up now.
What's that?
Why are you being all nosy, guard?
That sounded like...
Hey, who's there?
Is there another way we can do this from behind?
Is someone there?
going on there?
Where's this go to? Here.
What?
I'm gonna have to do this at night. Cause I need to get up there. Whee! Let us see here. Woo! Do I have anything to do? Else to do? Do we just wait? Let's just wait until here. And then we'll just go, we'll eat and then go to sleep and then we'll be right back. Hey, Hans, I did it. I'm gonna be so drunk. What down here? It's down here. Okay, till morning. Then we talk to Sir Hans. Hello, Ratzig. Right, there he is. Of course, walking over to Sir Hanish.
God bless you. What troubles you?
I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning, as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sassau who sells it, and guarantees its success.
Musk of infinite allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Good luck then.
It's in Ledechka. I thought it would be in. I thought he said it was in Sessau. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Which is probably more so the case. Oh, the charlatan.
Well, well.
Ah, the prodigal son returned.
This makes sense.
I knew you'd come back to me one day.
Let me guess. You saw it in a dream?
I knew you were going to say that.
But I had a divine revelation. That next time I won't be around to pull you out of the shit.
Oh, well, I am sorry. But these things are sent to try our fortitude in the face of adversity.
I'd like to try your fortitude. I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Ah, naturally, musk of infinite allure, an age-old recipe, maybe even older, tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
That's not much.
Really?
What? Why? You... why do I even bother?
If you like, I can mix the elixir for you.
Oh, not again.
Now, is that any tone to use with your master? For shame.
Apologies, Master. I was carried away by my thirst for knowledge.
I understand your impatience, but the way to wisdom is narrow and arduous.
And leads out the window. About that recipe.
Yes.
Yes, I need...
I understand.
But I won't be drinking it. So
I
what is
want
it
the
you from
recipe.
me now?
Ah, my dear apprentice, everything's gone to the devil. I'm living from hand to mouth, sleeping on straw, and the local peasants won't buy from me. They say they don't trust me, as if I were some kind of charlatan. Can you believe it? Does this look to you like the face of a swindler?
Yes.
I'm an honest trader in sacred goods, whose only concern is the welfare of troubled souls.
A regular good Samaritan.
And any time now the slanderous gossip will spread here from Sasau. I should leave before things get worse. But I can't go anywhere until I've made a bit of coin. So what's needed is to give the locals a bit of encouragement, to open their hearts and purses.
I'm not going to go around beating people for you.
What do you take me for? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Violence is for the dull-witted. We must gently demonstrate to them the necessity of buying my remedies. For example, to ward off a revenant.
Revenant? What revenant?
The dead, returned from the grave. A corpse that the soul is unable to depart from, which wanders among the living, filled with rage at its wretched fate.
Yeah, I saw something like that once. But it was just some drunk going home from the tavern after losing all his money at dice.
Don't make light of such things. Now tell me, do you know how to deal with a revenant?
Garlic and a crucifix should be enough, right?
Those are things everyone should have. to repel malign spirits and other evils. You are my trained apprentice, but the ignorant villager is entirely at a loss
I
to
guess
deal with
there.
such dark forces. It is our sacred duty to prepare them for such threats.
And how do you propose to do that?
Well, they're all doubting Thomases. They need proof. We'll need a grave, an empty grave that we can use. There's one along the way to Sasau, but it's got one minor shortcoming.
What's that?
Well, it's not entirely empty.
Not entirely. What does that mean?
You have to dig it up first.
Why this particular grave?
The locals don't like to talk about it, so it's surely got some sinister past behind it.
Oh,
In places.
Well, if that's how it is, we could open old wounds. That could easily set people against us. Again.
Then it would be best if no one could connect us to it, wouldn't it?
I'll need a spell.
Yes, dig it up.
And what am I to do with the
Keep them. Human remains are always handy to have around.
Great. And how do we spread the word of this revenant?
There's a gossip in every village. Here, too, a woman who'll spread news quicker than a dozen messengers on the fastest steeds.
Where does this woman live?
The last house on the left, on the road to Sasau. She was the first person I met here, and by the time I reached the village green, I already had a mob looking suspiciously at me. The rumor-mongering fishwife.
And what am I to tell this gossip?
All you have to do is casually mention the empty grave, and before evening, I'll wager the whole village will know about it.
okay.
And that's all?
Not quite. You should ask her who was buried there. So we've got a story to work with.
So, dig up the grave, talk to the gossip.
And the remains. Don't forget to remove them. Otherwise, no one will believe in the Revenant.
I might have known any task for Capon would turn into some insane escapade. Grave robbing. Jesus.
Mandrake roots taken straight from the
Yeah.
Oh my, it's really that one, right? I think I've already dug this one up. I think.
Yeah.
This is funny. I could just brew the potion because I have the money, but I really want to see what this is.
I have. A Deutscher, I believe.
God be with you, good wife. Has something happened here?
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty? Unless it was dug up.
Oh, it's dug up, all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven, what in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
Well, no one wanted to work with him, or what?
Oh, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, I can understand that. It's always better to work for yourself than break your back for someone else.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, thieving is wrong.
Aye, but when there's a child on the way and your wife hasn't the strength to get out of bed for the hunger, well, you ought to think differently.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Ledetchko.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands.
Damn.
If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, he got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him?
No, no. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
God have mercy on their souls.
Amen.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day he parted ways with God forever, and he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself, nor us either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Come now, good wife. You can't leave the story unfinished.
We
I
can't.
said no. Will you let it lie?
How are you?
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. Ugh. He was from Ledetchko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
The question is, what would the Revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the Revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a Revenant's power.
Huh. I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Her conscience was troubled on account of her man, and she couldn't sleep. But I helped her, so she's found some peace.
So, no problem then.
What? I'm supposed to scare the wits out of her and start all over again?
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a Revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again?
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the Revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their
Ooh.
nourishment he turned into ash.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily.
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great.
That's called stealing, charlatan.
Switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back.
But what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up...
Sure. And how would I know if I've succeeded?
I'll
Yeah.
be the first to know. Off you go.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves...
Dear Henry.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his...
But you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a Revenant's bones.
But there is no Revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
I think I'd rather bury them.
You could. But
At least the poor wretch will have peace at last.
maybe. As long as you bury him in...
Like in Rattay, maybe?
Well, that's probably the nearest. That gossip-mongering crone would know.
True, I could...
If you must.
Okay.
But for heaven's sake, goodbye.
I'm gonna ask her where hallowed ground is.
Good morning.
Good wife.
Yes, lad.
You know, I can't stop thinking about what happened to that poor wretch.
Have you no consideration for a poor old woman? I told you I don't want to talk about it.
It might relieve you to talk to someone.
Relieve me from what?
Well, guilt.
Guilt? Why should I feel guilty?
Well, clearly something weighs heavy on your soul, just like the other villagers. The older ones. And I'd say it's connected to that empty grave. Well, that wretch returns as a revenant, and no one does anything. It's not just fear, but more like everyone is expecting some punishment that was bound to come one day.
Oh, you might be right. Maybe it would give me some peace in my old age to finally tell the whole story.
I want to know.
Several people from the village went to have it out with Lev, but he grabbed an axe and drove them off. He swore if anyone came near him, he'd burn their house down. Then he buried his wife and child in the meadows beyond Ledechko. I saw him carving 3 statues there.
Lev, you say his name was? What kind of statues?
There's 3 roughly carved beams there, each with a human face, except the smallest, which has no face at all.
For the stillborn child, I suppose. What happened then?
Nothing. He went back to his work, but never spoke to the villagers again. He'd even go all the way to Ratte for food, rather than talk to anyone here.
So he died alone in the end?
Actually, it was the villagers. It was us that killed him.
What? Just on account of his stealing?
No. Not long after, fires started springing up in the village. And when the first house burned down, the folk were very angry.
And of course suspicion fell on Lev.
Everyone was dead certain it was him. They all remembered his words. Do you know how arsonists are punished, lad?
No, I don't.
By burning on the pyre. But no one wanted to waste time with the law. We just went to his house at night, smashed in the door and windows, and threw lighting torches inside. And that was the end of him. But the fires didn't stop.
So he was innocent?
He was.
Well, I won't condemn you for it. It's for God to judge, but... I hope you all pay for your sins, like Lev did, for something he didn't do.
Every lifelong day.
Good luck then.
What was that?
Brother, I'm running next to you. I'm gonna have to do that one at night. One on my left. Be over here. Okay.
Who's that? What was that? Are you looking for someone?
No, I'm just running around, bro.
What was that? Why are you here? Bugger off.
You bugger off. That one? Hey lady, go look over there. Brr. Brr. What are you doing?
Missed! What?
Stop that brawl before they beat each other to death! Quick! They're thrashing each other there! Stop them!
All right.
All right. Hey, you! Don't move a muscle. Surrender! Got you. And now I'll... What? You dare to ask? This definitely won't come...
You're making a serious mistake. If only you...
Well...
I hope I can be...
You look a bit worried, Bailiff.
How can I not be? What with the whole village complaining about ghosts?
Ghosts?
An empty grave that they say a revenant crawled out of. They talk of nothing else.
You don't think there's any truth to it?
No, it's nothing but old wives' tales.
But how come the grave is empty?
You don't need any magic to dig up a grave. A spade will do.
This guy's
But
too
why would anyone
logical.
do that? Surely no God-fearing Christian would dig up the grave of some poor soul who hasn't even got the piece of hallowed ground to rest in.
A God-fearing Christian? No.
So you suspect someone?
Could be. There's been a band of good-for-nothing itinerants hanging around recently. They weren't making any trouble, though, so I let them be. But this is going too far.
How do you know it was them?
Who else would it be?
What about the Revenant?
Oh, don't you start. That revenant of yours is nothing but idle hands doing the devil's work. I'd send them packing myself if I had the time and the men.
A hero is what you need for a job like that. If you could find one.
From what I hear, you could be just the man for the job.
I wouldn't pay much attention to idle talk, Master Bailiff. God be with you.
Jesus Christ, a thief!
Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all.
Hey, you! Stop! Don't move a muscle.
Surrender. You've committed a
You were
violation.
seen-
You're
well-
under arrest.
Look.
Well,
Lamb. 25 pieces of lamb.
what's going on there?
Didn't I see a bunch of lamb over here?
The people, come up close and have a smell. Fresh bread, and pour yourself a bit of fresh milk to drink.
But the lamb has to be... I'm overloaded right now.
So, how am I doing so far?
Well, someone asked me how to deal with a revenant. No one in Ledechko would eat a single egg, even if they had any.
Well, at least they've got fuel. That's still not an...
There's still... Take care.
Oh, I need the...
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for...
Well,
Pay close attention.
I'm all ears.
How long... Once there was a knight.
Hey.
He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. This they did. But the maid fell in love instead, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. Their bodies lay together on the...
I thought you were
Why?
going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So...
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. But I know it was a simple recipe. So, all you have to do is...
Sure. Why... What's the rest?
Pay close...
I'm all ears.
How once there was a knight who he fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the... This they did. But the maid, anguished at the tragedy, their bodies lay together on...
What? I see no flowers in there. What is he talking about? What? What is he? What? Am I missing? How the hell does Thistle, Poppy, and St. John's Wort come from that story? I'm gonna listen to it again.
What's the recipe for that
Pay close attention.
I'm all ears.
How love once there was a knight who, though upright and noble looking, had a prickly. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was
Poppy.
afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight.
The patron saint of his order, St. John.
This knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All this they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from their bodies lay together on the ground, and the
Where does Thistle come into that?
What's the recipe?
pay close.
I'm all ears.
How once he fell, but he ain't there. Take care.
What? Okay, I need... Is it just one turn? I gotta go all the way up the mountain. That is the most outrageous, like, isn't our house like up here? Like here. Here it is. So I need St. John's Wort. Poppy. What's the other one? Thistle. I already have it in my inventory. I need wine. Need to mortar all of this together. I I need to grind it. I'm gonna add it to the cauldron. And boil for 1 turn. And then file it once it's done. What's my alchemy skill? 8? I could just brew that damn potion. What hell with it? I'm gonna keep this quest and he's just gonna give it to me. Because it could be cool. Okay. With this in mind, I need to go until it's dark. Like that's the only way we get in here. Into the baths. We'll have to do the baths and then I don't want to fight you guys. Simply don't care about fighting you guys. Alright, what's the meat at in my inventory? 57.
Lost something hereabouts?
She gonna go away? I might have to knock her out. I got about 5 minutes till we flip over.
Just lamb now. This meat is too fresh.
Maybe it'll be not too fresh here.
Not spoiled enough.
Really? Okay, go all the way at the night.
What's he doing here? Something you're looking for here?
No, bro. Why is he staring at me? Why is he staring at me? I'm confused.
Hey!
How? Oh, because I'm wearing this big ass armor.
What? Hey!
It has to be the villagers.
Hey, who's there?
Bro, why are you following me? I'm so confused by that. All right. Let's go to sleep and that'll be that for today. We might come back to this after the draft, but that's going to be it for this portion. I'm going to sleep until here and we're going to get everything up. So I'm going to switch over and we're going to have some fun with the NFL draft that starts here in about 5 or so minutes. So yeah, I'm going to flip over.